welcome. We are here at St. Paul's Baptist Church in St. Albans, West Virginia on Sunday, 19th of November 2023 to hear from members of the Amandaville Junior Grays baseball team. Now with us today we have Donald Epps, Ralph Dudley, Sonny Smith, and my name is Ralph McKinney. I'm an Associate Professor of Management at the Brandeis School of Business at the Lewis College of Business at Marshall University. I'm also joined by my colleague here, Dr. Ben Eng, Assistant Provost for Academic Engagement and Innovation, and Associate Professor of Marketing, Management, and Information Systems. And Dr. Alan Letton, who's a visiting scholar, and he's head of the Center for Economic and Community Development in Black Appalachia and Isolated Communities. Now, we'd first like to thank the community of St. Paul Baptist Church for hosting us today. We'd also like to thank Ellen Pauley and Denise Cyrus of the St. Albans Historical Society for helping with this event, and the Center for Economic and Community Development in Black Appalachia and Isolated Communities also for their supports. So let's go ahead and start our discussions. What impact has baseball or sport had on your life overall?
Okay, Don Epps. Baseball at the time in my life when we were young men was an outlet for us to be able to communicate to the community overall. And it also was an option for us to be able to play sports or participate in sports with people in my community who were not of the same color. So in other words, we were playing in a time of segregation, but baseball was a term of being able to be integrated, even though you couldn't go to schools or whatever this or that. You were able to participate against other teams and make other friends or whatever this or that. So yeah, it's had an impact on my life. And after that, you know, in growing older, basically, you know, can't help but be impressed by the fact that Jackie Robinson went into the major leagues as the first black, and that we were able to basically piggyback off of that and do the things that we did. So it was good for the community because the community itself, not just the ball players, but the community itself kind of embraced this team, which was mostly a black team. And the people came out to see us play, and they rooted for us just like we were the home team. And, you know, well, just like in high school. And so basically that was something that had an impact on me for the fact that it was something that we were able to do at that time when so much stuff that was out there to be done, we couldn't do. So, you know, we couldn't participate in some of the things that we wanted to. A lot of places where we couldn't go, a lot of things that we couldn't do. We couldn't go to the, you know, to most of the stores and etc. We couldn't get into them to be able to do the things we wanted to do. Even some that we went into that we were allowed into, we weren't able to, like for instance, go into I won't call names, but go into a store to sit down at the counter and eat. We couldn't do that. You could go and maybe order and stand and get whatever you wanted to do and leave the place of business. There was the movie theater down here. We couldn't go into the movie theater, and to this day, I've never been in the theater. They have certain events down there and everything, but I don't hate anybody or dislike anybody for it. But basically, when I wanted to go, I did not have the opportunity to go. And so now that it's open, you know, to be able to go, I just have no desire now to go. I did have a desire to go then, but I have no desire to go now. And just, you know, things of that nature. But all in all, it was a good experience on my life, and kind of makes me stop and think and appreciate some of the things that go on nowadays.
I think when I was growing up, Jackie Robinson was really we wanted to all be like Jackie Robinson. You know, we all did. All the black kids that played for the Amandaville Grays wanted to be like Jackie Robinson, and that was the most really important in my life, and I enjoyed it too, really. And And I enjoyed playing with these guys I grew up with. And we had one white guy on our team that I was playing with. His name was Leonard Brightwell. And he was, in fact, we stayed 2 doors down from one another over here in Amandaville. And he had a couple brothers that played, but they didn't play not with me. Like we never, like Donald said, we never did get to go to the Albany Theater. We had to go to we had to go to Nitro. And a lot of times we would walk to Nitro to go to a movie down there. But, you know, it was just another experience for me. And, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I never did understand. My father never did tell us that he was starting this team because where were you going to get it financed? So I always used to wonder how he got the St. Albans Merchants to sponsor us. We had the names of the stores all on our backs. We didn't have to buy anything. And I talked to the guys all the time. My dad worked for a masonry contractor in the Ray Wheel. And he used to haul his box on a big truck.
Big steak body truck.
Yeah, and we had 2 sideboards on it that came to about 15 inches. And he drove, and we would all get in the back. And he'd drive us all the way up to Ted, Camel's Creek, and all over everywhere. The only way none of us had cars.
Oh, well, Whitesville.
Yeah. And I used to say, why did you let us wild? Because we were all wild then. And we was cutting up back there. And I never did understand it, you know. And I never did understand how he got in with all these merchants to furnish all the money to do all these different things. Because I signed a baseball contract, and when I was a student at West Virginia College, we all played at State College. And my psychology teacher got me a tryout with Charles and Charles. And that's how I signed the contract, and I think it was 58. Of course, I didn't last very long because my arm went bad. I was a pitcher, Ralph and I were pitchers. And it so happens that the day my wife, I got married in Pennsylvania where we were playing, and the day my wife came up there, they gave me my walking stick. It so happens that my dad worked for this contractor, and I was an apprentice, so I had a job when I came back home. You know, I wondered, what do I do now? But we had nothing to do, no time to do anything when school was in, because we caught the bus here at 7 o'clock and got back home 6:30 or 7 at night. And it's the only time we had any time to do anything when school was out. And we had nothing to do, so I don't know how my dad got this idea of organizing this team. But it was a nice experience. I mean, fellas all got along. Because Ralph went almost to the majors. I was up there long enough to get a cup of coffee. And Donald should have been, but he fell in love. So it was a nice experience, you know. Yeah, I got to play with in spring training with Al Kaline and all those guys. You know, it's neat meeting all these sports guys. You know. Oh yeah. So it was a nice experience. I just wonder how. So I wonder all the time. My dad's gone, but I wonder all the time. I wish I had him here so I could answer some of these. He could answer some of these questions I had in the back of my mind. But he did it, so we all had a nice time playing.
Now you mentioned going to high school. This was Garnet High School.
We caught the bus. I caught the bus at 7 o'clock in the morning. Went all the way to Charleston to Garnet, and then Then caught the bus coming back when school was out. Got back home 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, it wasn't easy. We passed by. How many times? We passed by four
schools.
Yeah, 4 or 5 high schools on our way to Garnet, every day.
Yeah. After practice, after school, I played on 2 teams. I played baseball and basketball. And after school, we had to, after school, I had to go to practice, And so after practice, I had tickets to catch the city bus home, Charleston Transit. So you'd ride the Charleston Transit bus from Capitol Street in Charleston down to the station over here in St. Albans, get off there, and then walk the half a mile to a mile home down on A Street where I live. And so it would be sometimes 7 o'clock or 7:30 by the time I got home. If I had homework, I had to do the homework or whatever, but I had to get up in the morning at 6 o'clock to be able to get out there and catch the bus, no matter what the weather was.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd be out there trying to catch a bus, and there would be ice on the ground, and the temperature would be down 10 degrees or whatever, and you had to stand there up on the highway here, which is now McCorkle. You had to stand up there on the highway and wait on the bus because the bus would not wait on you, so you had to wait on it. And sometimes you'd be out there for 15, 20 minutes or so, and then somebody would, one of the parents would come out there and say, y'all need to come on home or whatever, so that, and because sometimes the bus would be that late,
Oh, wow.
and there were some other repercussions with the bus, but I won't really get into that. I won't get into that. But one thing I was talking a while ago, we were talking about Jackie Robinson, and I've got some handouts over here, but the one where your elbow's on right there, yeah, that's an article there where when I was playing over to West Virginia State, that Jackie Robinson actually was here in town, and he was over to the campus. He was on the campus that day that we just happened to be playing a baseball game, and I got a chance to imitate Jackie Robinson on that day, and that was probably one of the highlights of my baseball career, was being able to do that in front of Jackie Robinson.
So tell me a little bit about this. Do that. How did you imitate Jackie Robinson?
Jackie Robinson used to be famous for one thing, for stealing bases. If you ever watched any of the replays, he would get off the base and he would dance around or whatever and try to rattle the pitcher. And so basically, we were tied, and it was the last of the 9th inning. I led off the last of the 9th inning with a triple. Would have been a home run, but the thing was that we did not have a fence out in left field, and so the ball hit out there and it rolled. The guy got it, but I stopped at third with a triple, and the next 2 guys up made out. They struck out, and so it was 2 outs, and I said, well, I'm not going to waste this, and so the opportunity came, and I stole home, and so that's what the article says. That Robbie played wins for state.
So you danced your way home.
Yeah, that's my way home.
Talking about West Virginia State, I pitched a no-hitter against Institute High School over there. And about a couple of weeks later, the ball team that they had in Charleston, they played at Walpole Park. They called the school to my coach, Jim Jerry, and wanted me to come over for a tryout. They found out that I was black. They canceled it. They canceled it. They told me I didn't have to come. They canceled it.
One of the spoils.
Yeah.
What interesting. What you done?
Well, I went in the Air Force after I graduated from high school at 17 when I graduated from high school. I went into the Air Force and I played for the Air Force, and we won the Worldwide Baseball Tournament 2 years in a row. And I was most valuable player in two years there. The Colorado Rockies, they used to be the Denver Bears. They recruited me right as soon as I got a discharge from the Air Force, and I played 5 years with them. And I really enjoyed myself playing professional AAA baseball. I really enjoyed that.
Well, a little interesting thing, when I was going to college, I was a music major, and every summer I sang in a cappella choir. We would tour the eastern part of the United States, and I was playing, and the baseball season was going on at the time, And I told the coach, I said, Coach, I won't be available for 10 or 15 days. I said, or I'm a music major and we're going on tour. He looked at me, I'm not gonna mention the coach's name, but he mentioned me and said, well, I don't need any Crusoes on my team. So I said, and after, it's funny how life goes. I was drafted into the Army. I was stationed at the Pentagon for 2 years. And instead of playing baseball, I played fast pitch softball. The ball still was big, but I still didn't do a lot of hitting with it. It's just interesting things that happens to you in life.
So my next question is, how did your personal relationships with baseball evolve to the point of being involved with a junior team such as the Grays? How did you get, you said your dad started this team.
He didn't even tell, my brother and I played on the team, and we didn't know anything about it. He just said, I'm gonna get a baseball team so y'all have something to do. And that's all we had to do because we didn't have nothing else to do. Get out there in the field and play. We played football out there, but it's just, I don't know how he did it or why he did it or anything. He never did explain to me, my brother, anything about why he started the team.
Remember when we were playing together, we the whole time that we played together, we never took batting practice. Never took batting practice. We did a little infield every now and then, but we never took batting practice. And we whipped butt. You hear me? I mean, and we were playing against grown men.
Yeah, we were all boys.
Yeah, we were kids, and we were playing against all grown men.
That's the other thing. Glad you brought that up. Yeah, when we started, had organized the team, and we started playing, all of us were young teenagers. And as he said, we were playing against tobacco spitting, muscle bound. We were playing against men, against men's team. And as far as, getting us involved in playing, that was the only thing that we had. There was no other sports activity that we could get into other than scholastic. And you had to go all the way to Charleston. We had to go all the way to Charleston to play basketball, football, or baseball in Charleston. And so having this team here, this was the only team we could play on because the rest of the teams were white. We were black. And so basically, this was it. So when we got this team, we said, hey, yeah. So that's the reason why we kind of excelled. Was the reason that that was it. So we kind of dedicated ourselves. We like baseball, so
We didn't have nothing else to do.
yeah.
Except work in the garden, and we didn't want to do that. And feed hogs, because we all raised the hogs. I did.
Pig pen.
Yeah, pig.
A lot of times before I had to go to school, I had to go hustle garbage for the hog.
Yeah.
Before I caught the bus to go to school. And sometimes I'd get up 4 o'clock in the morning, up and down these alleys here in St. Albans, hustle garbage for the big hog.
Because you had to beat the rest of the garbage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the rest of it.
Yeah, because the rest of the garbage collectors would be coming too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, we went places where blacks weren't in. We'd go in Camel's Creek. That was way back there.
Yeah.
And we went on up past Camel's Creek up to Ted and Emmons and all these places. Cause I hit a guy. We played Hurricane, and I hit a guy in the head with a baseball because I was a pitcher, and I was running my mouth. My dad said, "Go over and sit down." My brother said, "Go." My dad told my brother, "Go over and sit down, Charlie," and he didn't, and he backslapped him. And my brother said, "I saw stars there for about 15 minutes." But my dad never did have any problems with discipline on the team. That's what was so amazing. I mean, I never heard him. You ever heard him scream at anybody?
Nobody.
Never. So, I don't know. He had more patience than I.
We got called some unfriendly names in some of the places where we played, but mostly mostly it was all right, you know, as far as that was concerned. But there were several occasions where we got caught some unfriendly
Yeah, we went to Ripley and they called light calls, said light calls was light. And
lightning. Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we were running fast or what, you know.
99% of the teams we were playing too were all white.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So this is kind of an interesting question, and you mentioned a little bit this earlier about the supplies for your equipment. You couldn't figure out how your father got the supplies for the team. Now, did you have any other issues with getting supplies or even other sports in your community? And what you've said is baseball was the only thing here. And so, you know, how was he able to?
Well, I don't think my dad, I don't think he ever asked any of the parents of the, y'all remember?
No.
Did we buy, I know what, my dad bought our bats and gloves, but I
Balls
don't,
and
and the balls
Yeah.
thing came from the merchants who had we had the names on the back of our jerseys, you know.
Yeah.
and a lot of us didn't even have cleats to wear.
Yeah.
Or spikes to wear. And baseball, but a lot of us played in tennis shoes.
Yeah, one concern would buy a uniform for him,
Mhm.
and then one would buy a uniform for me, and one would buy a uniform for him. If my uniform wore out, then I was only going to get another uniform or whatever if I got the A.W. Cox department
Yeah.
store used to be right down here. I wore A.W. Cox on my back, and so basically that's how we got our equipment, whatever.
So each player had a business sponsor.
A different business on
Yeah.
its back.
On the back of it.
Same thing now as to how you would Page would have it on, or you know, on TV. The commercials interrupted, and so that basically was what we did. We were walking advertisements for, and so it behooved us to win for our people. If we won this or that and everything, and somebody went in because of the baseball team or whatever. You know.
It amazed me how he accomplished that, what he did with the uniforms and the bats and the balls.
And the
you
field
know.
where we had to play on.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the field that you played on.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
it was where, what's the name of that place?
Prizes.
Prizes.
Yeah.
It was where Prizes. I don't know. And they had a field down in Lower Amandaville that they used to play softball and stuff on.
Peerless.
And I don't know why, yeah, where Peerless Park is. And I don't know why in the world that from home plate in center field, what, 200 yards or something like that? Or is that
Over here?
Yeah.
About 250 feet, maybe.
Yeah. And we had to drag the field. I don't know how in the world he did all that. I really don't.
In other words, it was a small field.
Yeah, small field.
Yeah.
And houses were all around, you know, on the other side of the house.
On the other side of that railroad track.
Yeah, the other side of the railroad track. Yeah, because did you have one to cross over?
Several. Several.
Of course, I didn't have that problem. I was a pitcher, I wouldn't have hit it.
And so some of the fields that you played, again, they were in kind of the same condition. They were smaller and they had a lot of other issues, maybe tracks or.
Well, it was another field in St. Albans out there where Evans used to be out there. She's out there where the golf course is.
Out River Bend.
River Bend.
They had a nice field.
Yeah, they had a nice field out there.
We played the River Bend team.
Mhm.
That's the only time we played out there.
Some of
Yeah,
the
they
players
had-
on that St. Albans team used to come up there and join our team.
Yeah.
Because we were beating them.
We played a team from South Charleston. This is really something. And we played them a doublehead. But between games, they got to arguing on the sideline. They almost went to fisticuffs on the sideline. And they came over during the halftime between the games and asked could they join our team. And these were three white guys, okay? And so they gave them permission and they joined our team. And so on one of the pictures that you'll see or whatever, this and that, they're on our team. They were on our team. Wound up being good teammates and this and that. One guy's name was Bill Meadows, and another one's name was Fox. I think he was from over in the Nitro. We had a guy on our team named Bill Neese from Nitro.
He played football.
Yeah, he was a football player from Nitro, and he was on the team or whatever. But and then of course Leonard was the original white guy on our team. I call him white guy, you know, but on our team, and he was a good little second baseman or whatever this and that. But yeah,
Okay, thanks, sir. Definitely a lot of great memories here. Do you require anything?
Then it is. Now it is.
Now it is.
Wasn't then.
Yeah.
There's some hard times, you know.
So looking back at that, you said now it is, and then it wasn't. Curious about some of that.
Well, you know, I think the only other team that had black players on it was West Side.
black,
All the rest of it.
black side.
Yeah. But all the rest of the teams are white. And, you know, we didn't know them. I've never been to Emmons,
Yeah.
you know, Ripley,
Never been out to Campbell's Creek.
Camels Creek. I don't think many black folks go to Camels Creek now. Yeah. But it was an experience. But we didn't have a whole lot of trouble. Everything went along pretty good. Because we won the championship about every year we played.
Yeah, I think
It was in the paper.
all
You
but
know.
1 year. I think we won.
Yeah. And other players out to other teams who want to come and join our team because Henson, he used to be a doctor down in
Sammy Henson.
Sam Henson. He came.
Down,
Played up
doctor
there.
down the Hurricane. Yeah.
He used to be a doctor. I think he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Bill Terry. Yeah.
So in thinking about this atmosphere with community and participating in these type of mixed race activities, I understand that you played May 1955 in a game, and it was one of the first interracial games.
No, that was me.
That was you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that and how that impacted the.
Okay, that was not with the Grays. This was actually Scholastic, but I was playing for Garnet, and I was the captain of the team. And I made All-State that year. But basically, we played a game, and we played it here in St. Albans. This was really ironic. I lived on 8th Street, 2.5 or 3 blocks from Crawford Field. It's where they played baseball. I lived 3 blocks from the baseball field. I played baseball for Garnet. I had to go 13 miles to play baseball. And there was a baseball field 3 blocks from the house. So it was my senior year of high school. And my coach, Jim Jarrett, some of y'all might have heard of him, Gloomy Jim Jarrett. Jim Jarrett said, "We got a baseball game this year, and we got a baseball game with St. Albans." So we played down here at St. Albans. I hit a home run down here at St. Albans. But anyhow, in the paper the next day, the St. Albans people wrote it up. And in the paper the next day, it said the Garnet shortstop hit a tremendous home run. It didn't even call my name.
He hit over in Smilers.
Yeah.
You know when Smilers used to be on the corner?
Yeah.
He hit the ball from there all the way over.
But their publicist didn't even call my name. So, but that's okay. And I said, well, how can I won't even be able to show that article to my kids. They'll say it wasn't you. But I just resented the fact, you know, that I could play in a interracial game when schools were not integrated until the next year. After 1956 was when high schools were integrated. Now my question was, how in the world am I allowed to play against white athletes in 1955 when schools were not integrated for high schools until 1957? If that could be allowed, that you could play a game like that then how come I had to go all the way to Charleston to play? How come I couldn't have been playing here with Tags Meredith and Pete Peters? These are the guys who were playing when I was playing. St. Albans had some really good athletes or whatever. And we could have been a big asset to St. Albans, you know, but had to do that, and it just, I still don't know how that happened. How could you play an interracial game when you're segregated and you're not supposed to be involved? Same year, I played basketball too. And the same, we also played a baseball game against South Charleston and Alex Hawkins. Might have heard him. Alex Hawkins and Bob Steele. I think his name was Robert Steele. They played for South Charleston. They were really good athletes. But we played a basketball game at Glenville High School. And then we played another basketball game at Nitro High School. Now this is black teams playing white teams when blacks and white teams did not mix. You couldn't play together. And you weren't in a league together or whatever this and that, but we were able to play. It was a good experience, you know, but I just wonder how that could happen. And, you know, just kind of boggles my mind as to how, you know, you can do this, but you can't do that. It's just, I still have no answer to that. Yeah. And you know, I could ask Tom Williams or whatever, somebody up to the school board now, how that could happen, but I'm not really sure that they would even be able to tell us how that, you know, as to how that went down. Was it even against? Was it you know, was it against the laws or whatever? So that should the police have come and arrested somebody for, you know, for doing that?
Sonny, do you have any experiences like that? Or Ralph?
No, well, I left here. I went in the service in 1955, and I didn't get to participate with mixed teams like that. Yeah. And by the way, Donald and I were inducted to the high school Negro Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I got pictures over there.
Yeah.
Your picture, you didn't get your picture in there.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Put your names on it. Yeah.
Now, going back to the lessons that you learned in the field, how did this carry you and move you forward in life?
Good question. I guess when I got the adult, I never thought about, you know, the things that we had to go through while when we were young like that. I never crossed my mind because I was participating in the Air Force and participating in baseball, but it never carried over. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing. We had a lot of fun.
In our community, and I say community, I lived on 8th Street, and of course, just about everything I did was in Amandaville, just right across the river. You know, I mean, where else was I going to do it? You know, so I was over there every day. You know, but the thing is that you could come into the Amandaville community. You could go into the pool room, you could come down to the skating rink, you could come down to whatever activities were down there, and you're welcome. You could walk right in, do whatever you wanted to do, and nobody looked at you funny or whatever this or that. By the same token, there were communities where if I went into, somebody would be out there, whatever this or that, ready to call the police or whatever this or that, you know, and this or that and everything. So it was a two-standard thing or whatever. I never had, and these guys didn't. We never had any problem with the other race, with the other races. We never had any problem, and they were welcome to come into the community, do whatever they wanted to do or whatever. So that if just like I say, when those boys wanted to join the team, we let them join the team or whatever, stuff like that. That's the way we were. So we had no animosity about anything like that. The only animosity we had was the fact that we could not go into the businesses or do the things that we wanted to do, and we couldn't go to the official schools and stuff like that and do those type of things. We got secondhand books. That's, I don't know how many people know that, but we got, like if this year you were going to change the curriculum and you were going to give out new books by Kanawha County schools or whatever, we didn't get those books. We got the books that you had before.
And that's how you got the new books, is when the others were discarded, basically.
See, because we had a separate superintendent.
I remember when I was in the service, when there's some other West Virginia young men, and instead of catching the bus back, they I caught a ride with them, and so up there, right outside of D.C., there was two white fellows here and me in the middle, and they saw me and they acted like we were going to stop, and then when they saw me, they pushed the gas down. Then one time when I was at the Pentagon, we went, me and 3 or 4 other white fellows went down in D.C. to get to eat, and they told the white fellows that they couldn't eat there. And so they said, well, if he can't eat here, I can't either. And they got up and all went out with me, you know. And so, you know, after a while, it's just second nature to you. You know, all the people around me on my street, I live in Amandaville, and I'd go over there and play baseball in the street with them.
Over on 8th Street.
Yeah, over on 8th Street. But all the people around in Amandaville, black, white, we all got along fine, you know. If one needed one thing, we'd help each other, you know. I don't know. After a while, you just get acclimated to it. You just say, well, it's just what it is, you know. Because when they assigned my baseball contract, my brother and I, they signed a contract, and so they paid our way on a Pullman down to Lakeland, Florida. That's where I was in spring training. In the meanwhile, the train stopped in Richmond, and this seemed that it was sort of strange. So I walked in to get us something to eat, and the black lady was working in the restaurant. She said, "I can't serve you." You know, and later on in life, I understood that she had to work and feed her family. You know, she wasn't allowed to do it, so. But I got back on the train hungry, and we went on down to Florida, and about the same thing when I got down there to get a taxi from the train station out to Lakeland, Florida, to where the baseball was in train. I ran into the same thing, you know. So, I mean, it's just something that you just get acclimated to, and you can't do anything about it. And you're not going to sit there and starve. You go out there and find your apple tree and get your apple or something, you know. Our family always raised 3 hogs during the summer. And so we had to feed the hogs, and then at noontime, we had to go down to the riverbank and get hog leaves and come up and feed them. Then every Thanksgiving, we killed hogs, so we had meat all year long, you know. So it's just things we had to go through when we were young. It's not like it is. I have a grandson now. He gets up at 11. When my dad hit the floor at 7, we had to get out and work in the garden. You know. Cut the weeds out of the plants, you know, just something you have to do, you do it. Just shut your mouth and go on and do it. Because my dad had one of those straps like the barbers used to sharpen the thing. If you didn't like it, son, come on upstairs. I got something up here for you. Yeah, I didn't want that, you know. That's just the way it was. And I mean, during our coming up, we couldn't talk back to parents. Yeah, and not get something to feel, you know. Yeah. But it was a nice experience. I enjoyed it. And these guys, I mean, I just enjoyed. You know, we all thought of each other as brothers. You know, that kind of atmosphere.
Gentlemen, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, just that I got several books here, and also you know, some handouts. And in this book or whatever, you know, we basically have been talking community and race or whatever to that. But in this book here, this Black Past book, I don't know whether you can get this book now or whatever, but if there was some way you could get this, this would really be good. You would really enjoy this. I look at it almost every other day. But St. Albans had some places and things that probably most of you don't even know anything about that were black enterprises. For instance, did you know that St. Albans had a black beach?
Mm-hmm.
There was a black beach here in St. Albans.
Mm-hmm.
Right out here at what's it called, Willowbean or whatever it is, right out here. There was a black beach out there. It lasted for about 4 years. Right over here on this corner, right over here, there was a black hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That people coming into town, right on Main Street, people coming into town that, black people that needed to stay, prominent people. They stayed in that black hotel. That black hotel was connected to a store, and several other things several other enterprises were in that hotel. And my uncle, George Cooper, he also ran a market right over here across the street over here where the sports complex is, right over here. And they connected to that hotel. There was a black family that lived right over here next to where you cross the bridge to go over the river before they modernized it or whatever, when Main Street ran straight through and all the trucks and stuff used to come down through here or whatever. But a black family lived on Main Street, which is kind of ironic that you had during segregation, you had a black family living right there on Main Street. And things like that. We had a dry cleaner down A Street, a black dry cleaners, and we had a store over in Amandaville, a black store right on the highway over in Amandaville. So Paul Park, the man who after the Grays baseball team, after we kind of like got old and broke up, his dad gave it up. A man by the name of Wilkins Hall said he wanted the baseball team, and so he took the baseball team. He bought us all uniforms, and he bought us hats, equipment, and everything. And his business was right up what's the name of the place?
Stop 16.
Stop 16.
We call it Stop 16, but it's just as you. What is Jefferson?
Jefferson.
Right up here in Jefferson. He had a motel up in Jefferson. I won't talk about the motel, but he had a motel in Jefferson. And so basically he had over the thing. But you had all these black businesses or black enterprises in St. Albans or whatever. And you mentioned something like that, and most people don't even realize that, it was there. Of course, up here at where McKinley is now, McKinley, that was Carter G. Woodson Elementary and Junior High School. That's where we all went to school.
From first to the 9th grade.
Yeah, from first to the 9th. And then of course, then we went on to Garner. And the first school for blacks, the Carter G. Woodson School, first school was right up here in the building that they used to call the Legion. I don't know what it's called now, but right up here on Pennsylvania Avenue, or whatever, the Legion, that was the first black school. And there were several black churches or whatever. There's a church up on, I call it Red's Hill, it's Rosedale. There was a church up there, and there was a whole black community up on Red's Hill. There was a whole black community, probably about 15 to 20 families of black people up there. Some still live up there. And so when you wanted to find the blacks, you went to a community where blacks were. It wasn't like blacks lived all over St. Albans. You went up to Ordnance Park and that area up in there were no blacks. All the blacks were here. They always say blacks congregated in Amandaville. Well, there was a reason for that. You had to go where you could do real estate, this or that, because you had to realize too that jobs were different. I was the first black in the county department at Union Carbide in 1967. I was the first black. Integration came before but I was the first black in the county, and I was able to manage 32 years. It wasn't easy, but I said I was determined that once I got in there, they weren't going to get me out until I retired. And so that's what I did, But I met numerous people, and I've always been treated good or whatever, this or that. But yeah, in the back of your mind, there's always a little bit of resentment, but there's also a little bit of education and everything to go on. I'm able to talk to my grandkids and to my kids I was able to keep them centered by letting them know, you know, exactly what had happened beforehand, and even before me, what my parents had gone through and this and that. My dad's from Tennessee and my mom was from Alabama. And they came here to West Virginia for better things. Can you believe that? They came here to West Virginia for better things than where they were. Not better things because of the jobs and stuff, but better things for black people to be able to do stuff. They had opened up some things here in West Virginia, coal mines. They all came to be coal miners. My dad worked in the coal mines, I think he said, for 6 months, and his dad told him, said, I'm getting you out of here. He said, you don't need to be in here, I'm getting you out of here. So what they did was he worked. My dad got pulled out of school in the 8th grade, and he had 2 sisters. Both of his sisters went on to get doctor's degree or whatever, so that one taught over at West Virginia State College, and the other one was in Clarksburg. The theory then was that the men worked to send the women to school. And the reason for that was that the women could always get jobs as teachers. The men's jobs were basically confined to janitors or to
Brick mason.
or to the coal mines. But the women could always get a decent job as a school teacher. So for that fact, you know, nowadays it's the man is the breadwinner of the house. Then it was basically the opposite way, that the woman was going to be the breadwinner, and this or that. She'd have that job, she'd get that money or whatever, this or that. If they didn't get married, you understand what I'm saying? Then they were the ones who had money, if they and they weren't even married. But that's the way that that's the way things operate. But things were different, and you know, it's a different time, and we walked everywhere we went. Nobody had cars.
No.
Didn't know what a car was. We didn't have no cars.
We had one when I got 25.
Yeah, that's about right. I dated a girl that lived on the west side. Met her in high school. My high school sweetheart. Met her on the west side. I rode the city bus every day to the west side. Rode the city bus.
Everywhere we went, we rode the bus.
Like,
Walked to church.
you tell me how much dating or whatever you could do when you ride the city bus. You know what I mean? And where was I going when I got off the city bus? To her house. And you know why I was going to her house? I was going to her house because anywhere we went from there, we had to ride the city bus. If we wanted to go up to Washington Street to the Ferguson Theater, which was the only theater we could go to there, you know, other than the one on the west side called the Palace, because you had to go to black theaters. We had to go out and catch the city bus to go up there, and then catch the city bus to come back there, or I'd walk her 4 miles. You know what I mean? So things, no cars.
We used to walk. I lived in Amandaville, and we used to have to walk from Amandaville to church here every
Day. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And don't summer, winter didn't make any difference. Because my dad said, "Yo, kids, you got to get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
And just about all the families, children came here, and we had to walk. A lot of us didn't have cars.
But this is the last thing I'm going to say. When we played baseball on Sundays down in Amandaville, it was like a carnival, whatever you want to call it. They all came or whatever. That was the activity. Grays playing home on Sunday, and they were there for that. So we were the pride of Amandaville, St. Albans.
You didn't have the big lights or anything like that, did
No
you?
lights. Play all day.
Daytime or no time?
No, daytime and no time.
Daytime lights is over.
Now later on, when it switched over to Halls Park, they got a little creative. Here's this picture. You can see where they even crowned Miss Halls Park. Willa Anderson, Willa May Die, was Miss Halls Park, and they put a loudspeaker up, and they were playing music, and they played the national anthem. Can you believe that? They played the national anthem. We'd never had anything like that before the game. And we had that contest. I think they had a base running contest, and all this or that, you know, and it was really something. But people came, and you can see these women, they're all dressed up and everything. But people came. I mean, it was something else. Yeah.
Definitely want to thank you for sharing your story. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, so I just want to have a couple points here. What we're going to be doing today, it's going to be freely available online at Marshall University Special Collections Library under the Amandaville Junior Grays series. Those links will be shared with everybody once we get everything uploaded. Because we really want these stories to go out and inspire people for future discovery and research into historical events with a deeper understanding of how these events have maybe impacted, influenced people, their communities, businesses, and society. So if there's any short stories that you want to share with us, just reach out to either myself or my colleagues. At this time, I would like to turn it over for anybody that has any questions from these gentlemen. Stand up. Anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sandra from Amandaville. Tell me the name of your team.
It used to be the Amandaville Grays.
The Amandaville Junior Grays.
And how long did the team play? You said your dad started the team in what year, and how long did they play?
I think we started what, around
49
50?
or 50, 40 to what, 54, 55, 56, somewhere along there. About five or 6 years.
I was gone.
Then it went to Hall's Park.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason why, because his dad, like he said, he and his brother, and I was over his house all the time, me, Ralph, whatever. After we grew up, you know, there was no need for him to have it too. So it switched over, and this Mr. Hall took it over, and he took it there for a bit.
Anybody else have any questions?
Do you have any paraphernalia left over from those days? Baseball glove or?
No, that's
I gave it to my grandson, and I don't know what he did with it.
yeah, 67 or 60 so years ago.
Yeah, but some of you guys sleep with those gloves.
No, not at our
My
age.
husband would. He loved baseball.
Well, I like it too. I like to watch it.
But these guys were good teammates. We had a good team. We had fun.
What teams did you play?
Well,
Wouldn't be Little League, right? You wouldn't be Little League.
Oh no,
no,
no.
we
We played grown men.
played grown men.
Yeah, we didn't have a little league team.
13, 14.
Everybody we played was at least 6, 7 years older than us.
Yeah.
And how old were you guys?
I started at 13,
13.
12 or 13.
I must start in 14.
Mm-hmm.
15.
Yeah, but we played a team from. I'll just tell you where they're from. River Bend, Hurricane, Winfield, Nitro, Dunbar, St. Albans,
What's that?
South Charleston. Black Sox were from West Charleston or whatever. Then we went up to Winifred, Tad, Cold Fork, Cold Branch Heights, Emmons, Whitesville,
Ripley.
yeah, Ripley, whatever. Most of those teams or whatever. All those, you know, and like I say, all those teams were black. I mean, were white except for the team that the Black Sox. They were a mixed team, whatever. And there's probably about 4 or 5 more teams that I can't recall right now. My memory's pretty good, but it ain't that good.
Well, it was an independent league, and the league was even in the paper, the teams and everything. I like to see there.
Yeah. Oh, Clendenin and Elkview. Yeah. Clendenin was the only team that basically was almost as good as we were.
Because Dave Vineyard,
Yeah,
he played
they had some
football
major
with
leaguers on their team.
with Baltimore until they retired 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
But
We played baseball against professional major leaguers, a couple of them was from Nitro.
Yeah.
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 And so basically, there was this huge age difference.
Oh,
that you're
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah,
time,
yeah.
big time.
But you were
Boys
much-
playing men.
Yeah.
But you're able to take everything.
Like guys that went on to play in the major leagues or whatever, this and that, but we was playing them when we was 13, 14 years old. And somebody said, oh, you couldn't play no ball against him because he's so and so. So, yeah, well, you got to realize we was kids. We was kids when we was playing.
Those are some amazing stories.
It is amazing. You know, going to take it back. And back during that, then we didn't think nothing of it. We just thought that was it, you know.
No, that's all we had to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We didn't have the money, nothing.
All you had to do was roll the ball out
Yeah.
and we were ready to go.
Yeah, that's another 3 hours tied up.
Yeah.
Then we can go home and go to bed, you know, because wasn't no going out late at night. you
Other
know.
than that, in the skating rink, we had nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
skating ring.
Sonny, did your father play baseball?
No, ma'am, not to my knowledge. I don't know where, I don't know how because he never, did he ever work with y'all on y'all's position? He never did help me pitching.
No.
Ralph and I, he never did help us, did he, Ralph?
He hit me ground balls.
Yeah. But he never showed us anything about pitching.
Mhm.
We just picked it up on our own.
We coached ourselves.
Yeah. Self-taught.
We had later on, not the early Amandaville Grays, but later on, the latter part of the Amandaville Grays, the Hall Spark when we switched over. We had a groundskeeper even. We had a groundskeeper. We had somebody who would come out there, and they would have this drag. They tie this drag onto the back of a car or truck, and they would drag the field and smooth the field out or whatever.
Or no grass on the
Yeah.
infield.
And
No grass on the infield at all.
yeah, drag the whole field.
With the same truck that he hauled us up and down the road with, we hooked a cross tie on the back and drug the field with to make the infield straight.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you picture a truck full of young black guys going out through Campbell's Creek?
No side on the truck.
And we driving down through Campbell's Creek. Now with the board that I on the back of it, and we're driving down through there, and people are, what in the world?
We've been invaded.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, it's kind of hard. I think back about that and I said, man, it's hard to picture. Like you said, man, what was Mr. Bus thinking about taking
And the truck had a steel bed on it with no cushion.
all the way to Whitesville driving that thing, come back almost at night. We went up there and played a night game. Can you believe that? In that truck, we went up there and played a night game.
I thought later on after my dad passed, I said, what was he thinking? Or was he thinking, you know? But it's just something I don't know how. He must have saw a need for us to have something to do.
But it sure helped.
Yeah.
They kept us out of
Kept us
trouble.
out of trouble.
Donald could have been, three of us made, signed a contract, baseball contracts. He could have if he hadn't been injured, because he's one of our better players, Donald was.
Now, I remember there was a story that was mentioned about individuals showing up to these games to sell drinks and other things.
Oh, yeah, the people come out and sell pop. And because people lived all around the ball field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had our own concession man.
Yeah.
He was a Mr. What was his name? From out the Atkins, Kendra Atkins.
Yeah.
Mr. Vate.
Bacon, Jim Bacon.
Yeah, he had a truck, and he would load that truck up with sodas and with food, and later on with beer too.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I mean, you know, we weren't a church league team. We weren't a church league team. So he would, you know, but anyhow, he would go. He even went as far as Clendenin with us. Drove his truck up there and was selling stuff up there at Clendenin, up on the hill up there. As they played up on the little note, we played up on that hill. He was selling refreshments.
Using some of my experiences when you went out what did you do for food and relieving yourself when you were out in these kind of
Get
places?
something before you left.
Well, some of the places had special, yeah.
Well, you know, we was young.
Not like
We
that.
could hold it for 10 hours. And they used to put something in the water. They had this thing that's where they said that they didn't want you to drink no whole lot of water. You know, back in that day and time they had things kind of mixed up. They said you wasn't supposed to drink a whole lot of water. You're supposed to just, so they would put stuff in the water. I forget what they called it, but the water tastes awful, horrible. And so you wouldn't drink a whole lot. So I mean, for 10 hours, you was just good to go. I don't never remember taking you to the bathroom nowhere.
That you had to take whatever you were gonna eat in the room, you had to pack that. They're a stage ahead of me, but I remember some of those experiences.
I never remember using the bathroom with any of those games we played. I never remember. I really don't.
You
You?
had to,
Well, I could just walk right down the street to my house.
Yeah, you could from over there, from Amandaville. But we went to all those places like out the Campbell's Creek. You think we was gonna ask somebody out there to use the bathroom? No, sir.
Who were some of the other players in our are they deceased or some of them still living now? Some of
The only three that's left.
One, but he's later on was Y.C. Williams.
Yeah.
We just Tuppy just brought that up there to us just a little bit ago.
Alright, good.
well,
I used to watch him play every day.
That's my brother.
Tell me you just left. Let me play. That's why a few of us we go and watch. After the game was over, we would imitate everything that they did. So that by the time we got to play a little bit, the coaches didn't even tell us anything. We take our possession, they would show us how to feel, or do anything, everything. Just
Yeah, that's my brother Bill Epps, and he was went into the West Virginia State University's Hall of Fame here this past September.
Down in Amandaville where we played, we always had big crowds. Everybody came out, you know, because, I don't know, they just enjoyed watching us play. And a lot of them were kin folks, you know, we all had families.
And the girls,
yeah.
and the girls were there too. You know,
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
His wife was close up too.
Yeah, she lived right beside
beside the
the field. I never hear her say, "Come on, honey."
Fact, his brother's wife lived right beside the field too.
Right beside the field.
Married his wife. They were sisters. Brothers married sisters.
I was the only one that had to go to Charleston.
But it was a lot of fun, really, because that's the only thing we had to do once school was out. Had nothing else to do except work in the garden, cut grass. But that gave us a little time to have fun with each other. Because a lot of times during the day, we'd go out and play football out there in the big field. Remember, Ralph? Yeah, we'd be playing football.
And when he says big field.
I'm talking up what Jesse's score was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else have any questions? Final thoughts or comments, gentlemen?
Well, thank you guys for showing an interest. My thing was, and I think I've told my pastor, and I've told several other people, that it's a shame if, I was telling Brother Ray Woods here, I was telling him that, you know, it's a shame that a lot more has not been documented about the black community and about things that went on.
You
And
told me about that.
Yeah, and so you know, it's always good if we can have something and have something on record, because it's basically been mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
And you lose so much, or you add something to it that wasn't even there. But it's always good to be able to have it, and that's the reason why that I bought a lot of this right here, to try to document, so you can take some of this and you can see that some of this stuff really did happen, and some of the things that went on, and have a little bit. I wanted to give you a little bit of background of, what the black activity was, what it was that we were able to do, and where it was that we were confined to go, and that was basically it, because very seldom did we come up here in St. Albans, up into town, except to go over there to a central schoolyard and play basketball. That was about the only activity that we ever did up here in St. Albans and we'd be up there all day. You go up there all day, play basketball all day, shovel the field off shovel the snow off in the wintertime, and play basketball. So that was it.
Well, all of us have been going here. I've been going here for 88 years. You about the same, and Ralph. And my dad not only coached the baseball team, but he also was a youth advisor. He just couldn't get rid of us, I guess. That's what it was. I don't know.
I remember when I was 16, I pitched a baseball game for the lady that owned the skating rink. Her son worked for Armco Nickel Plant there in Ashland, Kentucky.
Baby Ray.
Yeah. And he came up and asked Mama, could I go down and pitch a baseball game for him on Sunday? So I did. I pitched a one-hitter and I hit a home run to win in the 19th to win the ball game.
Wow.
And some guy came up to me and asked me my name and asked me how old I was. I told him I was 16, going on 17, be 17 in a couple of weeks. He said, what you planning on doing when you get older? I said, I like to play professional baseball. He said, okay. He said, can I get your phone number and address and everything? So I gave it to him. About a week later, I get a letter from the Cincinnati Reds wanting me to come down for a tryout. I said, well, if they ain't got enough interest in me to come and send me for a ticket or come and get me to take me down for a tryout, I'm not going. So I didn't go.
Yeah, but he one more step and he would have been in the major leagues. Ralph. One more step. My brother played 2 years. He pitched a no-hitter against the New York Yankee Farm Club. I wasn't there then. They had sent me home.
There was another semi-pro team that was from Huntington. Donald and I don't think they know about this. I never told anybody. It was a gentleman that came up and asked my dad. My dad was with me at the time. Asked me, could I go down to Huntington to pitch a ball game for him? So he said, yeah. So he went with me. And I went down there and pitched the ball game. We did win. We won the ball game. But
We won most all our games.
99% of them.
Yeah.
Really.
Sonny and I got paid we got paid to play a game up in, was it Ripley? We went up there and played a game with the Clendenin team. They asked us to play with them. We went up there. We had to catch a city bus to Charleston. Some guy picked us up, and then they took us over to Clendenin and up to Ripley, and we played the game up there. And he came back and they paid us. I think they gave us like $25 or something like that, which was a whole lot of money then.
For us.
Yeah.
I have a question. It's for Brother Epps. People, Leonard Smith always talked about you knocking a home run across McCormick.
Yeah,
Was this during the same time?
Yeah. When I was senior in high school, I was 17 years old. And yeah, I did. I hit the ball. Supposedly it was the only home run that ever hit out of Crawford Field.
Where was it? Yeah, Crawford's Field, and where did the ball go?
Smiley's had a restaurant there on the corner.
They tell
You know
me,
where Tim Hortons is? You know where Tim Hortons is now?
Right.
Okay. The backstop was back there where the field house is in Crawford Field now. That's where the backstop was. So he hit it from back there, across Route 60, over Tim Hortons.
now they tell me that I never did see the ball.
I guess I was just running around.
I hit the ball and I didn't have a habit of watching where the ball went when I hit it. Yeah.
That's how you hit too many.
I just hit it and ran. I did look up, but I didn't know where it was. I just saw the guy out there at the fence and he didn't have the ball.
He was a power hitter. He could hit. He could have made it to the majors too if he hadn't got hurt.
And been in love.
Well, I was in love, but I didn't get close to the majors.
I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave her.
Yeah, when my wife came up with me and we got married, and then they cut me and I came back home.
I think about that today. I said, man, you something. That girl was only 18, 19 years old. And you maybe before win a major league contract or whatever. People came from Pittsburgh or someplace and they wanted to sign me up.
Yeah.
And I told the person to go, I said, tell them I don't want I don't want to.
Well, didn't you go to tryout up there at Charleston Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I signed with Ben Matejowski was playing up there then.
And down Huntington, over down Huntington too. Look. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I love these stories today.
We liked them at the time. We thought we was gonna be millionaires.
Anybody else? Because we're gonna be gone.
Gentlemen.